Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. His Highness will be arriving shortly. If you could please all take your seats. Thank you so much. If you could please take your seats. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can please take your seats. Thank you very much. If you can please take your seats. Thank you. Your Highnesses, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Masa al-Khair and good evening. My name is Diala Sabbagh with Gulf Intelligence, and I'm delighted to be emceeing Master of Ceremonies of tonight's awards. Welcome to the Aramco Trading New Silk Road CEO of the Year Awards for Lifetime Achievement 2024. Under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Hamad al-Sharqi, member of the Supreme Council and ruler of Fujairah. I'd like to extend a special and warm welcome to His Highness Sheikh Rashid bin Hamad al-Sharqi, Deputy Chairman of the Fujairah Oil Industry Zone, and also joining us tonight, His Excellency Suhail al-Mazrou'i, the UAE Minister of Energy and Infrastructure, and to Mr. Abdullah al-Dusari, the Managing Director of Aramco Trading Fujairah. I hope most of you were able to join us earlier today on day one of the Energy Markets Forum, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow bright and early for the breakfast briefings, the plenary session, and also the round tables. But back to this evening's business. The Aramco Trading New Silk Road CEO of the Year Awards are in their 7th edition, and they recognize industry leaders with an outstanding record of achievement in the advancement of the international energy industry's interconnectivity across the Asia-Middle East trading corridor. The awards recognize success in the categories of trading, refining, storage, ports, and shipping. And every year, an international selection committee submits a list of nominees, which are then shortlisted and voted on by their peers in the industry. And tonight, I'm delighted to see a few familiar faces of previous winners and indeed many of the selection committee joining us this evening as well. So we'll be getting on to the awards very shortly, but before that, there's no such thing as a free dinner, as they say, and we're going to have a short knowledge session up here on stage. And I'd like to invite Sean Evers, who's managing partner with Gulf Intelligence, to moderate the fireside chat on all things OPEC. So please welcome. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I figured the only way we could really talk about OPEC this evening in a very safe and open way was to get 3 journalists up on the stage who have a great knowledge and a great responsibility to cover the subject as best they can. And so I'd like to invite Amina Bakr, who's Chief OPEC Correspondent with Energy Intelligence, to come to the stage. Paul Hicken, Editor-in-Chief of Petroleum Economist, and Herman Wang, who's also the head OPEC correspondent with S&P Global Commodity Insights, to please come to the stage, and we'll have a little conversation about where things are going at the moment. You can see on the stage we have put up on the board, "Will the real OPEC please stand up?" Is a sort of play on the words of a famous song. But we've seen in recent years OPEC going from a group that was obviously and still is 12 members, full members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and have now gone into a deep and very important partnership with the OPEC Plus, as it's now referred to, the 22 countries, so the OPEC plus 10 countries, and that has been a very substantial relationship now for close to 10 years and has had a very significant impact on the markets and on the world management of oil supply and demand balance. And then in recent times, in the last year or so, the emergence of what has been termed Grade 8 or 8 countries within the combined 22 that have taken on a bigger burden of balancing the market. And so hence the sort of play on the question, would the real OPEC please stand up? And in the last week, we had a very what seemed like a big article in the Financial Times indicating that some change in outlook for the management of the oil markets, that there was some possibility of a market share battle ahead, at least that's what the FT reported, and seemed to impact the market, at least on that day, quite significantly. So that's a little bit of context to this conversation, and I want to ask the journalists who are covering OPEC every day, that what part of OPEC, within the context of OPEC 12, OPEC 22, and the Great Eight, Amina Bakker, microphone next to you on the chair. Which part of it do you focus on? Which part is the most important part at this time? And where do you think credibility lies within that priority for your focus?
Thank you, Sean. I think we need to look at the group as a whole, but you rightfully said that there are divisions, and these divisions are because some of these members are no longer able to reach their production quotas. And that's why we have these divisions. We have a group of 8 that could increase and decrease production and are offering voluntary cuts, and now there are decisions around, bringing some of that supply from the voluntary cuts. So we look at the group as a whole, but recently, of course, since the OPEC 8 have announced that they're going to be bringing back some of the supply to the market, a lot of focus has been on those 8 members and the decisions they take, and the meetings that they have, including the one tomorrow. There's a JMMC being held. So a lot of focus is being, concentrated on those members.
Herman, your thoughts. Where do you look when you're covering this story now? There's obviously 22 countries. Where is the key areas to understand where the supply factor is going? We saw Saudi, at least sourced by the FT last week, to be reconsidering the strategy. Where do you look when you are covering this story now? Where's the center of gravity?
Sure. Well, let me first off start off by saying that I feel very self-conscious sitting here talking about OPEC because His Excellency Suhail Mazrui sat right there, and if he says that what I say is nonsense, then my credibility as a journalist will be ruined forever.
Well, there's no, I'm sure everybody's interested to hear occasionally what journalists have to say, and take it with a grain of salt, but please.
Sure, he is in the room. But yeah, to the point that you made and Amina made, we are obviously paying attention to these, we call them the Great Eight, the 8 with the voluntary cuts, because they are the ones that we're talking about tapering the cuts, whether that's in October, whether that's in December, maybe delayed a little further. But the story right now of OPEC, I think, is one largely of compliance, because there are things that OPEC Plus can control. There are things that they cannot control, right? OPEC Plus can control setting the quotas and then compliance. And we know that there are tensions within the group about compliance. Certain members, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Russia, have at various points overproduced their quotas. And this has caused some frustration, I think, it might be fair to say, among some members of OPEC Plus that perhaps they're free riding on the efforts of others. And the point's been made to me that had these countries complied with their quotas from the start, from January, that the market might be a lot tighter now. I think Iraq, by the latest OPEC Plus figures, 230,000 barrels per day over their quota in August. OPEC Plus, the tapering plan, the first month of that tapering plan, which was meant to be October this month, was about 180,000 barrels per day, right? 180, 190,000 barrels per day. So Iraq on its own, already 40,000 barrels per day above what the OPEC plan to release those barrels were. So, OPEC is kind of looking at Iraq and to an extent Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan was compliant.
Do you think, that in that area, that those compliance, not compliance of those few members is the key factor as to why this market is not tighter? Or is that on the margins, or is that central to?
Well, on the supply side, certainly what OPEC Plus can control is the compliance part. We've got obviously non-OPEC Plus supply also rising in the U.S., Brazil, Canada, other places. And on the demand side, everyone's looking at China to see what's happening there. But within the OPEC Plus house and keeping its own house in order, the compliance is certainly an issue.
So that's where you would be looking, those non-compliance members that have made commitments, but they're not, at least according to reporting, adhering to them,
right.
And that's an area of focus. I wanted to get, Paul, your thoughts on the FT article last week, which came out and obviously impacted the market quite significantly in that moment. What did you think of it? Did it seem to be a game changer? On the day, it had a big impact on the market, pushing oil prices down a few percentage points, an indication that OPEC, at least some members within it, might be thinking of stepping away from the current agreements.
Well, I think, yes, I think it has to be a credible threat of a market share war. Even if we talk about it as it's not going to happen, it will be too explosive. We've been there before in 2020. Nobody really wants that. It's a nuclear option, but it has to be a credible threat. Wherever that story came from, but probably Saudi Arabia is probably quite happy that the story's out there, I would imagine.
Well, there was no denial to it, I don't think.
No, and so they're probably happy it's out there because to try and keep those, what we're saying, those non-compliers in line. And we've been there before. It's been a problem throughout since the OPEC Plus agreement in 2016. Iraq's been a serial issue. Some of the others are familiar names, but it only seems to become a problem now because we've got these kind of fragmentation of the group, and this voluntary aid certainly has kind of boxed them into a little bit of a corner in the sense that everyone's looking, especially journalists and analysts, about what they're going to do first, that voluntary aid. It feels like there's an itching to them to get those barrels back to the market at some point. Whereas if it's a cohesive whole, then it feels like everyone's working on this in the same way, and that seems to be the story behind the story.
Amina, your thoughts on that FT article, not so much the validity of the article, but ultimately, was there news in it? I mean, the FT article was essentially saying that there's going to increase output, or at least some indication that there was going to be a move away. But we already know that they're going to increase. OPEC Plus announced earlier this year a very detailed, granular plan for increasing output. They delayed it for 2 months from October 1st to December 1st. So from your perspective, do you see something different? Is there something else here that's going on? What's your own reporting and research tell you?
The FT article brought up two elements, really. It's about price targeting. They said Saudi Arabia is no longer targeting $100. And then it seemed to suggest that Saudi Arabia will bring back production, or OPEC Plus will bring back production no matter what the costs are. They're going to be after market share. I don't see it as a kind of black and white issue. Let's tackle the first element of price targeting. I don't think Saudi Arabia or OPEC Plus are targeting a certain price. Is there a price range?
I've never seen or heard that number before as a...
And 100 is ridiculous, Sean, in this
IMF
environment.
IMF said 90, I think, yeah. IMF earlier this year. But I've never heard 100.
No, 100 was, if you look years back, yeah, it was plausible, maybe. But now, I mean, we're looking at a market where we're possibly, we might head to 60 and not 100. There's a lot of negative sentiment out there. Demand is quite bearish. We're looking at China with a lot of uncertainty. So this bearishness, I mean, it doesn't even make sense to bring up $100. So that's on the price targeting. Does Saudi Arabia and other producers have a preferred target to balance their budgets? Of course they do. But price targeting has proven that it is not a successful policy. So they don't do that. They focus on the fundamentals. Now, in terms of bringing back supply, yes, we do know the current plan is to gradually bring back supply in December. Will it happen at any price? I mean, just theoretically, let's just assume the price slides to $50. Will they still bring back that supply? it's not clear. I mean, they will have to assess the market at that point, and they already have a caveat in the agreement saying that will depend on market conditions. However, I will say that, Herman, you already mentioned non-OPEC supply is going to grow a lot by 2025. By our estimates, we expect non-OPEC supply to be around 1.7 million barrels a day. OPEC is in a tight spot. They need to make a decision on when they're going to bring back these barrels. Otherwise, you're going to get non-OPEC supply filling in those gaps. So that's the delicate balance that needs to have. I don't see a full-out market price war happening like we saw in 2020. That would be kind of defeating the purpose, and it would destroy cohesion. So, yeah.
Herman, I mean, this in the essence of this sort of current window, we've seen, as we said, OPEC 12, then the OPEC 22, for many years now, had some tremendous success in managing the market, but along the way we lost Qatar, we lost Angola, we gained one or two countries. I'm just wondering, is there any reporting you're seeing or that you're doing or that you're aware of that says this has run its course and there is a different something else to come going forward, or is there still legs in this current framework?
Yeah, I think in terms of like managing the market, you know, OPEC plus their hands are tied, as Amina said, about the non-OPEC plus growth and the demand picture. I think Mr. Tornquist this morning at the gun board chairman talked about the dilemma that OPEC plus faces in trying to manage this market in a way, you know, where demand growth is not going to, he says, is going to fall well short of non-OPEC plus supply growth. So, you know, and I think, you know, just to go to your question about the composition of OPEC plus, you know, a couple years ago, the big story was the addition of those African members and maybe the center of, not the center of gravity per se, but the growing influence of some of these other producers into the group. Well, now we've seen a lot of these African producers struggle with their investment to keep pace with their production quotas. And so they're kind of just along for the ride now. But we also saw the outreach to Brazil, right? And Brazil has a regulatory regime that doesn't really allow them to cut production. They can't dictate to Petrobras their production levels. But I think you're seeing with the Secretary General recently going there, presenting the World Oil Outlook there, that there's a desire to try to understand the forces of the market better. And we saw some of this with you know, the former secretaries, the late Secretary General Martin Barguindo outreach to U.S. shale companies. The current Secretary General Haitham El-Ghais has continued that. He's reached out to Brazil. And I think there's just an understanding now that there are all these forces that are not conspiring against OPEC+, but there are dynamics that they need to understand a little better.
Paul, you'll be the first to sort of have the last words, comments here about where do you think they go from here? OPEC obviously has a stay on their increase, OPEC Plus, till December 1st. The reaction to the FT story, while it hit the markets on the day, was not dramatic. Prices didn't go through the floor, although the context of the article was uncertain. But if you take it on face value, it sort of was saying they're going to open the taps, right? I mean, it was some sort of battle, market share battle, using all that language. And yet the markets didn't really crater. They fell a little bit, but they held north of 70. How do you think OPEC Plus interprets that? Where do you think they go from here with their next decision? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a case of looking and hoping there's a bit of better compliance, and then they can potentially be in a position in December to try and extend or even slightly deepen the agreement to try and keep that unofficial $70 oil price floor in a situation of weaker China and US, and hope that a recovery starts to come from some key consumers like the US and China. And you've got to remember, they've been there before. They've had harder bumps in the road, COVID, US shale. We talk about non-OPEC supply. Amina was rightly pointing out non-OPEC supply, but the US shale back before COVID, they were the marginal supplier. They were owned much more by independents rather than the big majors, and they could respond more quickly to price. than they can now. So in a sense, OPEC has had these challenges in its past: weak demand, marginal supply, non-OPEC supply. And so while things are a little bit different this time, it isn't a challenge that's insurmountable for OPEC Plus. And it may mean accepting maybe that the $70 price floor is not as strong if the economic outlook weakens further. That's probably where we're at.
Amina, last word for you. Where do you think they go from here in terms of the big decision? Do we go forward with the increase on December 1st?
I think there's a window here, Sean, for them to bring part of that supply. I mean, one of the main points they need to get in control, which Herman already mentioned, is compliance. If they get the compliance in order and 100% from Kazakhstan, Iraq, and Russia, then the net supply to the market in December is 17,000 barrels. It's nothing. So getting compliance in order, bringing back these barrels into the market, they have a window here. We have the stocks under the 5-year average. We have a deficit in the market. This is the window that they could bring back supply in.
And I would just wrap up by saying it does appear that the China stimulus package last week has certainly lit a fire under the Chinese equity markets, which in some ways a forward guidance might be an optimistic outlook for 2025 that China may surprise to the upside if they're very, very serious about their stimulus commitments. We're going to have to leave it there and let everybody get on with their dinner, but thanks, Paul, thanks, Herman, thanks, Amina, really appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much, Sean, and thank you to our panel of journalists there. A nice scene setter for tomorrow, perhaps, where we'll be discussing much more about the industry across the board. Well, it's time now for the awards, and I'm delighted to invite to the stage to introduce the first award and declare the first winner. Dave Ernsberger, Head of Market Reporting and Trading Solutions at S&P Global Commodity Insights. And where is Dave? Ah, he's there. Okay. He'll be coming and to introduce the first category. And as I said, we have 4 categories tonight, one of which is actually 5 categories, and one is a new one for the year. So we're looking forward to that. So we'll wait for Dave. Enjoy your appetizers, and we will be having a short break in the awards where we'll be serving the main course and then continuing with the second half of the accolades. So bon appétit, and I'll hand over to Dave. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Your Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, good evening, and welcome to another fantastic GI Energy Forum event. It's my pleasure to introduce the winner of the 2024 Aramco Trading New Silk Road CEO of the Year in the category of trading. That's going to be Torbjorn Tornquist, Chairman of Gunvor Group. So congratulations, Torbjorn. Don't come up yet. I have a few things to say. Torbjorn has had an extraordinary career spanning more than 40 years in the oil and gas industry. He co-founded Gunvor Group in 2000, and under his leadership, the company has grown into one of the world's biggest independent commodities trading companies, providing a crucial service to global markets in times both straightforward and complicated. Gunvor now has operations in more than 100 countries, and the business extends well beyond oil trading to include now a diverse range of commodities like natural gas, as we heard about over lunch today, and agriculture and metals as well. Born in Stockholm, Torbjorn began his career at British Petroleum, BP, where he worked for 6 years before moving on to become the head of oil trading at Scandinavian Trading Co. AB. His deep understanding of the oil markets was invaluable when he went on to serve as the managing director for the oil division of Intermaritime Group Petrotrade. That experience prepared him to take the bold step of co-founding Gunvor with Gennady Timchenko in 2000. Who else remembers those days? I know I do. Gunvor initially focused on trading Russian crude to Europe, where it quickly gained a reputation for its ability to navigate the complexities of that industry. Torbjorn is known not only for his strong leadership, but also his hands-on management style. He's actively involved even now in the day-to-day operations of the company and is widely respected for his attention to detail there. Torbjorn's leadership is defined by leading by example. He encourages his employees to take ownership of their work, and his ability to identify and nurture talent within Gunvor has been really important to their success. Torbjorn has been quick to adapt to changing circumstances, which is critical in the commodity markets. Even as we've been talking about today, the markets are constantly changing and shape-shifting around us, and that adaptability is crucial. Torbjorn has always been guided by a clear set of values that include hard work, operating with integrity, and innovation. Throughout his career, he's been committed to conducting business in an ethical manner, and I've seen that myself in many of the meetings between Platts and Gunvor, where we've agreed, and even where we've disagreed, we've always had good conversations, which I appreciate. Torbjorn's dedication to working with integrity has earned him the respect of peers and helped him build trust with partners and customers. Now, as we all know in the room here, it's important to have a life beyond work if you want to stay competitive in work. Torbjorn is an avid sailor, I hope you don't mind me saying before you come up on stage here, and has participated in many international races, including big sea races like the Rolex Middle Sea Race in 2018, a race around Sicily and Malta. He's a passionate collector of art, including works by Jeff Koons, Damien Hirst, and Richard Prince, and in 2019 he donated a painting by Gerhard Richter to the Centre Pompidou in Paris, showing his intention to make a positive impact on society as well as business. So overall, folks, to conclude, Torbjorn's leadership and his management style have been instrumental in the success of Gunvor. A focus on results, a sense of the wider mission, and his ability to adapt to changing circumstances has helped Gunvor to grow and thrive in what is a very competitive industry all around us. So all that remains for me to say is that Torbjorn is a very deserving recipient of this year's award from the committee in the category of trading. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to invite His Highness Sheikh Rashid bin Hamad Al Sharqi and Torbjorn to accept his award. Change the name.
And if we could have also Mr. Al-Dosari up for the award. Thank you so much.
This is on. Well, Your Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, obviously I feel deeply honored about this award, and it's obviously a great pleasure to be here, and thank you, Dave, for talking so well about me. I learned a little bit more about myself. So obviously, and being here in Fujairah is also very special. As you heard, I've been a long career. I've seen a lot here. But when I come here at a little bit my age, having a few years behind me, and I truly looking into the future. Our group is increasing our activities in the region for many, many reasons, because we believe this is the future. Once again, thank you very much. I'm deeply honored.
Congratulations. Well, our second category of award tonight is in refining, and I'm delighted to invite Mr. Kieran Gallagher, Managing Director of Vitol Bahrain, to introduce the next winner.
Your Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce the winner of the 2024 Aramco Trading New Silk Road CEO of the Year in the category of refining, to Mr. Sultan Al-Bagheshi, CEO of ADNOC Refining. Mr. Sultan Al-Bagheshi has had an extraordinary career with more than 25 years of extensive experience in refinery operations management, project management, planning and strategy. Having spent nearly his entire career with ADNOC Refining, he has risen through the ranks since joining the company as a process engineer in 1995, taking on key roles in said process engineering, product planning and economics, technical services and strategy. Under Mr. Al-Bagheši's leadership, ADNOC Refining processes close to 1 million barrels of crude and products and condensates per day. At the heart of these operations is ADNOC's mega refinery in Ruwais, one of the largest refining complexes in the world. Under Mr. Al-Bagheši's direction, products are either exported globally via sea or transferred via pipeline to ADNOC's complex in Mosafa, where they are stored and later distributed by road or through the company's extensive 1,600-kilometer pipeline network. Among the many innovative projects spearheaded by Mr. Al-Bagheši is the $600 million waste heat recovery project, which will recover and reuse exhaust heat from the general utilities plant in Ruwais. This initiative, under his leadership, will generate up to 230 megawatts of electricity and 2,600 cubic meters of water every hour, without any additional CO2 emissions. Additionally, the $3.5 billion Crude Flexibility Project, or CFP as we've come to know it, ADNOC are able to process upper Zakum grade crude from ADNOC's offshore fields, along with more than 50 other grades from around the world that have been opened up into their feed slate. His leadership has driven ADNOC's major milestones, including the recent ISCC production for sustainable aviation fuel at Ruwais. This achievement makes ADNOC the first company in the Middle East to earn such recognition, showcasing Mr. Al-Bagheši's commitment to making today's energy cleaner. Mr. Al-Bagheši's leadership aligns with ADNOC's support for the UAE's Net Zero by 2050 strategic initiative. His direction has been instrumental in ADNOC's bringing forward its net zero ambition by 5 years to 2045, demonstrating a firm commitment to sustainability and environmental stewardship. Through the strong commercial relationship Vitol have enjoyed down through the years with ADNOC, our team have borne witness to much of Sultan's work and success stories. So all that remains for me to say is that Sultan Al-Bagheši is a very deserving recipient of this year's award in the category of refining. Congratulations. It's my pleasure to now invite His Highness Dr. Rashid bin Hamad Al Sharqi and Mr. Sultan Al-Bagheši to accept his award.
wants to say a few words on receiving the award? Perhaps not, okay. Congratulations. Your Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to have a short break and have the main meal served. Bon appétit. And we will continue with our award ceremony after dinner in about half an hour. Your Highness and Mr. Suri, thank you very much. Please do take your seats back at the top table. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to hear everybody chatting away, but I am going to ask for your attention. Please do continue your main course. We're going to recommence the award ceremony now. We have 3 more categories to honor up here on stage. So we're going to start now with the next category, which is for storage. And I'm delighted to introduce the next winner, Mr. Guy Moyen, CEO of VTTI. Thank you very much.
Your Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce the winner of the 2024 Aramco Trading New Silk Road CEO of the Year Award in the category of storage, Mr. Dick Richel, Chairman of the Executive Board and CEO of Royal Vopak. Vopak is our main competitor, a very well-respected competitor, so it's not every day that we have the occasion to award a respected competitor, and I would say, if you can't beat them yet, award them. I hear at Vopak that Dick has a reputation of being a Dutch American due to the many years he lived in Houston and because of his eloquence in the English language. His nearly 20 years of experience living abroad and connecting with different cultures has helped him tremendously in building trusted relationships, not only east of Suez, but also all over the world. Since assuming leadership of Royal Vopak in January 2022, Dick Richel has brought not only 25 years of industry expertise to the role, but also passion for energy storage and supporting the energy transition, and under his tenure so far, the share price has increased with about 40%. Having joined Vopak in '95 as a trainee in Vopak in Vlaardingen terminal in Rotterdam, he has played a pivotal role in expanding the company's global footprint with a particular focus on the east of Suez physical energy markets. His leadership across the Americas, Asia and the Middle East, and his focus on collaborating and continuous transformation has helped position Vopak as a cornerstone of global energy infrastructure. During his tenure as Vopak's president for Asia and the Middle East, from 2016 to 2020, Dick was instrumental in transforming Fujairah into one of the world's leading energy hubs outside the Straits of Hormuz, solidifying its importance in the east of Suez energy corridor. His efforts have significantly shaped physical energy markets across Asia, the Middle East and beyond. Vopak has always been good at adapting. However, under Dick's leadership, Vopak is emerging as a leader in ammonia storage across Asia. As part of the company's strategy to accelerate its new energies and LNG business, Vopak expanded its operations with new offices in Japan this summer, further strengthening its regional presence. This expansion complements Vopak's extensive global network, which spans over 23 countries and includes more than 35 joint ventures with joint venture partners. Vopak has also recently announced plans to potentially expand its ammonia storage and infrastructure in Singapore to meet rising demand. With more than 20 years of experience in safely storing and handling ammonia, Vopak owns and operates 6 ammonia terminals worldwide, positioning itself as a trusted leader in this essential sector. One of the things Dick said earlier this year really resonated with me. And he said that transformation can't wait. There is an obligation to do it, and the cost of not doing it is much greater. Dick's continuous push for and commitment to sustainable growth and energy security has established him as a visionary leader in the storage sector, driving the rise of the East of Suez region as a key player in the global market. It's an honor to present this award to a CEO who has not only shaped the future of energy storage, but also the evolution of energy markets in the East of Suez region. I'm sure the entire Vopak team, and most importantly Dick's team at home, his wife and children, are also exceptionally proud of his contribution to the industry. Unfortunately, Dick can't be here this evening, but Michiel Gilsing, member of the executive board of Vopak and CFO of Royal Vopak, who was a winner of this award a few years ago, is here to accept Dick's prize. So it's now my pleasure to invite His Highness Sheikh Rashid bin Ahmad Al Sharqi and Michiel Gilsing to the podium to accept this award.
Well, first of all, it's an honor for me to be here, and thanks, Guy, for your very nice words. It's fantastic to hear that from a competitor, and I really hope that one day we will swap positions, that we as Vopak will announce an award for you, because it's nice to have fair competition in the world. Yeah, for me, it's an honor to represent Dick, because Dick obviously won the award, and let me say a few words on his behalf. Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, I would like to start with thanking the ruler and the government of Fujairah for their vision and support to Vopak Horizon Fujairah for the past 25 years. I'm both humbled and proud to accept this prestigious award. For Vopak, this feels not just as a recognition of our past achievements, but also of our ongoing contribution to the industrial and economic development of this region. With a history that spans more than 400 years, we have always been at the forefront of new developments, adapting and evolving to meet the needs of changing times. Today, as we look ahead, we are more eager than ever to support the future. Whether it is through the development of industrial terminals, gas infrastructure, infrastructure for biobunkering, or other crucial infrastructure needed for the energy transition. Vopak is ready to invest and operate. Our strategic locations around the world, coupled with our unparalleled expertise in developing infrastructure solutions for hydrogen, ammonia, CO2 and long-duration energy storage, positions us perfectly to accelerate the journey towards a more sustainable future. We, as a company, strongly believe in the power of collaboration and have many successful long-term partnerships. Partnerships collectively pave the way towards a world where resources flow seamlessly and sustainably. Let's engage in meaningful conversations about the future of energy and infrastructure. I am available throughout the event and later on, and Dick is as well, to discuss potential collaborations and work together on any challenges you may have. Thank you once again for this prestigious award. It's an honor. Let's together help the world flow forward. Thank you.
Our next award, I'm delighted to introduce our next award, Dave Friedman, who is VP of Client Engagement and Partnerships at Kipler. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Sean and Gulf Intelligence, for another amazing edition of this event. Your Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to introduce the winner of the 2024 Aramco Trading New Silk Road CEO of the Year in the category of Ports and Shipping. And sorry, بس اسمك صعب علي شوي. Engineer Ahmed Al-Subai'i, CEO of Bahri. An accomplished executive, more than 40 years of local and international leadership experience, Engineer Subai'i has made remarkable contributions to the energy and maritime logistics sectors. Under his leadership as CEO of Bahri, the company has expanded its market presence, diversified it into new business lines, and strengthened its global position, delivering outstanding value to its shareholders. Since its establishment in 1978, Bahri has grown into a key player in the global maritime industry. From owning just 4 multi-purpose vessels, Bahri has developed into a global leader in transportation and logistics with a fleet of 92 ships. It is one of the world's largest owners and operators of VLCCs with a fleet of 40, and it also has one of the largest chemical tanker fleets in the region. Engineer Subai'i, his progression throughout his remarkable career demonstrates his unwavering commitment to both professional and personal growth, enabling him to drive the success of the company and team. Prior to his role at Bahri, he held numerous positions, including President of Saudi Petroleum Limited in Tokyo, President and CEO of Saudi Petroleum International in New York, and CEO and Representative Director of S-Oil in Seoul. In addition to his leadership at Bahri, he currently serves as chairman of the board at Saudi Aramco Base Oil Company and Saudi Petroleum Overseas. He also holds board positions at several other Saudi Aramco subsidiaries and joint ventures, including SUMED. Since 2015, he has been a member of Bahri's board of directors and was appointed CEO in April of 2022. His impressive list of accolades includes being named Most Respected CEO of the Year by the Korean CEO Association. Beyond the professional achievements, he's an avid golfer and also enjoys learning new languages. In addition to Arabic and English, he speaks German, Spanish, Japanese, and Korean, incredibly impressive, demonstrating his global mindset and love of continuous learning. Engineer Al-Subai'i earned his bachelor's and master's degrees in electrical engineering from Northern Arizona University and holds an executive MBA from Stanford University. Please join me on stage to accept your award.
Really to make any remarks, but she asked me to make a few remarks, so I'll take a little breather first to take it all in. I want to thank David. Great pronunciation. Not many expats can pronounce Dal'ain, so very well done. Let me begin by thanking His Highness Sheikh Rashid bin Hamad for hosting us at the Majlis VIP. I want to thank also 2 people who have honored us with their presence here, Sheikh Abdullah and His Excellency Mazrou'i, close friend for many years. So I want to thank you all for hosting us here. You know, I'll accept, first of all, I'm truly humbled by this. This is not something I expected. I was told a few days ago, and Sean has been persistent that I make it here, so thank you, Sean, for being persistent. But I'm truly humbled by this award, and I only accept it on behalf of the people of Bahri. You know, Einstein said, I see a little more than others because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And the Bahri people and the Bahri executives and the Bahri employees and the Bahri family members are truly my giants. So thank you guys for making this award possible. You know, I like this, the title here, New Silk Road. Let me talk a little bit about the Old Silk Road. I mean, the Arabian Peninsula has always been a great and a big logistic node. Nothing moved from Asia to Europe or Africa back to Asia, or, you know, without coming through this crossroads. And now in this region, we're determined to leverage this location and bring it back to connect economies and to be again at the crossroads, to enhance trade, and especially in troubled times. Supply chain continues to be really the horizontal integrator. I keep telling people that, you know, if our industry, you know, sneezes, the rest of the industries get a cold. But we're determined, along with our partners, with our suppliers, with our service providers, to truly bring safety and reliability and hopefully environmental soundness to the seas, to truly leverage, to really get the economy back up running again. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you so much. I am truly humbled by this. What a great event. Organizers have done a fantastic job. And for the selection committee, thank you for making this, for making my year, so, and for making Bahri's year alongside with me. So thank you very much.
Congratulations to Mr. Al-Subai. Well, we've left the best for last, really, and this is a new category which we're having this year for the awards, and I'm going to invite Mr. Ahmed bin Thalith, the CEO of ADNOC Global Trading, to introduce the award and to declare the winner. Thank you very much.
For the sake of the dessert, I'm going to use the short version. Your Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce the new Silk Road Lifetime Achievement Award for the advancement of women leadership in the international energy markets to Ms. Roya Bayegan, Group CEO of BGN. Roya Bayegan leads BGN, a global energy and commodities firm operating from 23 locations worldwide and employing nearly 700 people. Roya has been able to attract world-leading traders and is known in the industry for her formidable skills for negotiations and for establishing enduring partnership and innovative New Deal structures. For example, in 2021, Roya struck the first partnership of its kind to build new VLGCs that transport transition fuels such as liquid gas and ammonia. Roya is a natural-born entrepreneur, and under her leadership, BGN has expanded from petrochemical business to move about 50 million tons a year, including multiple energy products, transitions, fuels, and other commodities such as minerals and other products. Starting out from Geneva, BGN now has offices in Dubai, as well as Singapore, Rotterdam, Houston, and Casablanca. Roya is an advocate for women in the industry, and under her leadership, has ensured that 50% of BGN's new hires are women. Her impact extends beyond business. She has initiated significant nonprofit efforts supporting employee family welfare, hospitals, schools, and earthquake relief. All that remains for me to say on behalf of Gulf Intelligence and the judging panel is that Ms. Roya Bayegan is a very deserving recipient of this year's the New Silk Road Lifetime Achievement Award for the advancement of women leadership in the international energy markets. Congratulations.
Highness, Excellencies, dear guests, I'm really honored to be here. It was really a great day for me. It was great hospitality. Thank you, all of you. I also want to thank the selection committee for making such a right decision. It was a long journey for us. It was a long journey for us to transform the company from regional company to the international commodity trader. Now we are moving next era. We are investing from upstream to downstream, shipping and renewables. I would like to thank all our business partners and friends to cooperate and support us our own long journey. We will commit on energy transition by trying to achieve our targets. Thank you, all of you.
Roya, please stay with us. I'd like to invite all the winners of this evening up for a group photo, please, and His Highness as well, and Mr. Dusari and His Excellency Al-Mazrou'i for a group photo. Bear with us, we're going to position you nicely. Thank you so much. And for everyone else, dessert's going to now be served and the evening will continue. So please, if we can have the winners and His Excellency. If we can have the trophies for the winners as well. Congratulations again to all the winners, and thank you very much to Aramco Trading, who are the sponsors of this wonderful award. We're establishing a fantastic legacy here every year of well-deserved winners. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dessert will now be served. Enjoy the remainder of your evening. And for those wishing to stay up a bit later, there will be a social hour on the mezzanine level at the Sports Lounge later on this evening when you're finished from here. And of course, we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on day 2 of the Energy Markets Forum. Bon appétit, mabrouk to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. So on the mezzanine level, we'll be continuing the evening later on after dessert, the ICE sponsored social networking hour. Thank you so much.